Hi, Carol here. Another warm welcome to my craft room as we do the wonderful Puddle Jumper LDRS Creative Release. This watercolor paper I found at a big box store. It's 6x9 and it's 140 pounds. So I'm going to give it a try for the first time. And I did love it. And I also love LDRS Creative Papers, as you know. And I love the kind of theme of Puddle Jumper. It has to do with water and fun, and wait till you see 25 stamps in the set that I'm going to use for this canvas. Now I'm going to chat about it right here because I was going to do 3 6x6 little canvas pieces out of the cards here, like the cardstock, and theme them up so that you could put them on the wall, you know, any way you want it, either all lengthwise or you know, 2 up, 1 down, 1 up, 2 down. But then I thought, you know what? I think if I just do the one, keep the timing down, I don't think you'll have any problem with you creating a similar project with me just showing you one of the canvas pieces that I do. And I'm telling you, I love working with anything that has to do with water. And this, look at that, I love the anchors. It has boots, you know, rubber boots, and it has umbrellas and ducks and water, all kinds of goodness. Umbrellas, and wait till you see it, photopolymer. LDRS Creative makes most wonderful photopolymer stamps. Now another thing that's exciting, we are going to color with LDRS Creative inks. Now you know they're hybrid, and I'm going to show you how you can color with it. Watercolor, actually. So Puddle Jumper May Release. It comes with the beautiful, look at this. I haven't used these yet, so I'm quickly going to go through them because I have a few projects, a few cards using those. But it does have a stencil. Now, I love this stencil to this set. I'm going to show you that. And you know, I was going to delve in using the Peerless watercolors here. I did make a binder for it with acrylic sheets on every, like every page had an acrylic sheet so that I could practice on it and work on it. I didn't have to find anything. But I decided, you know what, LDRS Creative hybrid inks, if you use a blender pen, a watercolor brush, and in my case, wait till you see what I grabbed instead of a blender brush. It was crazy. It makes beautiful watercolors out of the hybrid inks, and it ends up permanent, but you can work with it, and I'm going to show you that. I think you're going to love it. I work with the mini inks as well as the large ink tins as well, because I don't have all the colors of the little ones, but I do have all the colors of the large inks. So I took out my platform, and I'm going to I put the little, you know, it has these little ducks there, and I kind of put them in a row, but I didn't use them at the end. I ended up taking out my distress little cubes because I wanted to make the color very light, a real light blue for the image when I stamp it down so that I can really form my own colors. I'm going to do a vintage style canvas with a set that looks very, you know, for a child room. I'm going to make it bright as well, bright, cheery, but in the shabby chic vintage style. And it's something that I love to do. I love to tone. You know when you get a picture, let me jump again. You know when you get, crazy day. You know when you get a picture and it has that kind of milky tin look to it because it's aged, you know, it's old and vintagey. Well, we're going to do that with the outfit that this little girl is wearing so that we can just do a canvas with some aged look to it, vintage look to it. And I know you're going to love it, and I know you'll be inspired to give a small canvas a go and do 3 or 4 of them to hang up at one time. So here we go. I'm right now, this is raindrops, and it's hard to see, obviously, because I'm using a very light blue on this 140 pound, it's called bee paper, I think. And I'm putting this on there because we are going to do some coloring techniques that are a little different, but work very well. As I go along and I take out the product, I will show you and tell you, obviously, what the name of it is. The stencil, I want to bring back my stencils. I have so many of them, and LDRS Creative, Angie's making the designers are making some pretty beautiful stencils, and you can do so many techniques with a stencil, and I'm going to show you one or two maybe in this project. But stenciling, especially when you do a canvas for the outside portion of your canvas, is wonderful, just wonderful. You can see that I did get out some masking. I was going to do something totally different, but then I put the cap back on and put it away. You know, this is what I do. I think of this, I think of that, I do this, I do that. I guess I decided to just put it off to the side just in case I decide to do any masking with the liquid masking liquid. And you can use Frisket, whatever you like to do. Now, I wanted to show you this because it started out to be a card, okay? I wasn't getting out a canvas. It wasn't a canvas. This was a card. I make two small score marks there. And don't you love my bracelet on the left hand? That's from my friend Gail from Georgia. I'm going to show you the gift she sent me for my birthday and a small haul in the next tutorial since I finished this. So I get down some purple tape, and she made these out of paper. That's paper beads. It's crazy beautiful. I couldn't believe it. I thought it was glass beads. Oh, thank you so much, Gail. But I'll thank you in the next tutorial even more. So I grabbed the LDRS inks. I put some yellow first because I wanted to add the blue to make the boots green. You know, yellow and blue make green. So it made a beautiful kind of turquoise green. And I am going to color it in. But then as soon as I stamped it on the top, I reversed it. And I stamped it on the bottom. I wanted it to have a water image. This is what I was starting out with. I'm finding a blender pen here and to do this. And you know what I grabbed? My Versamark pen. I don't know if I didn't have my glasses on or what, but out of all of these blender pens, I grabbed my Versamark pen. Don't do that, you know. Well, I guess not right here. Right here I was watercoloring the splash water down underneath the image with the hybrid ink. Hybrid inks are so vibrant. It's crazy not to watercolor with them. You can get a dark to light there. That's better. And I mean, it's crazy beautiful. It has that, it's not a smooth look, but you can make it look smooth. I mean, it's wonderful. Oh yeah, let's spread the love of coloring with watercolor. Well, in this case, we're coloring with hybrid inks. And soon as I was done, you know, at the top image, I went down to the bottom because it was going to be a mirrored image. I was going to have trees and water, image on the bottom, and I had this whole scene in my head and switched it up. But I wanted you to see that to mirror something so easy, all you do is stamp your main image, turn your acrylic block around, and stamp it again, and you have a mirrored image. And it's wonderful. It works well for a shadow. If you want to just do a shadow of a certain stamp, just stamp it out and hold it there so you use the majority of the watercolor ink, whatever you're using. And then when you lift it, just right away turn it around, stamp it down, and you have your mirrored image. Shadow or water. In this case, it was going to be a water shadow. And then I changed it up as I was coloring. Don't you love hybrid inks? Oh yeah, so here we go. This is my wonderful Versamark pen. Look at it. Yes, I actually I took out the nib and I cleaned it, and then I put some Versamark liquid on the actual nib, and it went back for me. So I didn't ruin it because I did have Versamark liquid, but you know, you can wipe it off and let it stand in a container so that it, you know, the Versamark kind of works its way back down into the nib. But there, I switched it up to the watercolor. And I don't squeeze here out the water out of this brush. I fill up, this one actually didn't have any water in it, which I'm really surprised because I keep all my, you know, some, well, not all of them, some of them with water in it. So it's like kind of like a paint, paint to go. And yeah, so this one, you saw I had my water well up on the top right there. And I'm going to go over this later when it dries. But let me tell you, if you're working with hybrid inks, the color dries, it's permanent, it's not going to run on you. It's actually a wonderful medium to color with. You're going to love it. Here I'm making sure that I work my way around all the green, but you can go back in because it dries like a permanent ink. And that's the beauty of hybrid. And here I'm just showing, I had to speed it up, obviously, for coloring. But when I stamped it, because it's watercolor paper, I couldn't see some of the coat, you know, images where the coat folds in and folds out. So I just stamped another image on paper, white paper or cream paper, I can't remember what I had around there, so that I could use it visually to look on to see what the coat looked like that I stamped on the watercolor paper in the light yellow. Now I'm doing the skin tones with the hybrid inks, and I put them all away so I don't have them right here, but I think this is tea stain or something like that, tea something, that I do the skin with. And now I'm using that grape. Here's where you come in to make your vintage style, okay? If you're wanting to have like the coppers, that look of a vintage photo where you get a lot of the copper tones, that's what I'm going for. So you don't want to have a bright red. You know, what I did is I used the grape, still using my Versamark marker. When the marker changes to a thin one, it's my actual blender pen. What you should be using is the blender pen. But for some reason, I grabbed this, didn't look at it, and it's working out well. Actually, it's nice and smooth, easy to use. So if you want to use yours, I say go for it. I did. So just pick it up and yeah. So I added some blues and some grape into the bottom portion of the actual coat. It has a top, it has a little skirt, and then it has a reversible kind of coat thing going on there. And you'll see it. If I kind of waver and stop, it's because I'm looking at the stamped image off to the left, so I don't miss anything there. And I'm just slowing it down just to make sure everything, you know, trying to get all the shadows in there. Wherever the folds are, you know, that's going to be a darker shadow, easy peasy. Nothing complicated about coloring. Just make it your own and have fun with it, and you'll love it. Trust you me. You just, yeah, grab your blender pen. And, well, in this case, forget your blender pen. I just went right ahead and used my Versamark pen. And I think that's what it was here. Yeah, my Versamarker. And I'm doing the umbrella. The colors are just so vibrant working with them. And you want to make sure you're not going to be able to move these colors like you would if you went with a watercolor, and you're not going to be able to pounce them to move them away on the watercolor paper. They are staying on there, but you're getting a luscious, vibrant color with the actual hybrid ink. And now I'm going to work with the a dark navy and that grape color. I'm also going to work with a red to get that in there because I need to have this old vintage style look, as if it was kind of twofold. I wanted it to be vintage, but I wanted it to be bright and cheered because she has rubber boots on, stomping in that little puddle, as all children do when they see a puddle. I know I do when I see a puddle. And even if I don't have my rubber boots on, I just, there you go, have fun. And now I'm trying to see where the lapel is because I want to make it lighter because it's on the outside fold. And it has two little buttons, has a skirt, as you see I'm doing there. And then the underside of the jacket, I'm going to make it quite dark because the sun is not only not getting the rays onto the jacket because the umbrella is stopping it as well. So you just think about that when you're doing your shading. And don't get too crazy about worrying about where all the shade is. Just use your imagination and it'll all come together. And then to make this vintage coppery look, and the reason why I keep saying copper is I am going to use a wooden piece that says May. It's a cutout wooden piece, and I'm going to use coppers and strawberry and vintage deep raspberry embossing powders, and it's going to match this coat that I'm coloring in. Now, to get the vintage look, the old look, like wrinkled up, instead of wrinkling up your paper, add some white pen, some white gel pen. In this case, it's my Signo white pen, and go over it. If you've lost the lines, like if you've actually colored over and you've lost what lines you're working with, it's fabulous to grab a Signo white gel pen and then make those distinctive marks in your stamp, you know, your stamped image. It'll all come back and it gives it that tone of being, I don't know, 50s looking coat. You know, the kind where you had the matching coat and the inside of the beautiful silk would be a different pattern on your little jacket. I love those. Yes. So here I thought, okay, why don't I try, because I'm making an umbrella and it has those round curves, I took a makeup brush and I just dipped it into the ink. And I will try and find the actual colors. But no, I had to grab my, this is a Stampin' Up. I can see it there. So this is a blender pen I'm using. Woohoo! I actually grabbed the right thing, a blender pen. And I'm putting some gold right now. Let's rain down some gold. Why not? And then you can, and then. I mean, can I say that one more time? Oh, that's aggravating. I'm annoying. I'm sorry. So what you're going to do here is you're going to just, to make it look round, you want it to be lighter in the center. So that's what I do. And I end up grabbing some, let me see, white paint. And I use titanium white in the tube, you know, and to add some roundness for the umbrella. So I put some of that in there. You're going to see me working with it. You know, you want to darken up the top and you want to darken up the bottom and then add some lines throughout it so it has that curved look. Just play with it and it will work. Yes, worked for me. If it works for me, it's going to work for you. And here you go. You're going to see, and I actually aged the colors up in the umbrella too. I didn't leave them like a bright yellow, a bright green, a bright yellow. No, I toned them into like I was taking a photograph and it was sitting around for, you know, 30, 40 years. And it had that vintage look, that vintage feel to it. And that's why I am using the more dark, rich colors in most of this image. Not the water so much and not the boots maybe so much, but here, this is the paint. This is the watercolor. I just put it on an acrylic block. It's a pretty thick, I'm sorry, not, it's watercolor out of the tube, a tube of watercolor, yes. And you can see I used too much there, so I'm going to go back in and I'm going to move it around. You can move watercolor around, don't fret over this. And if you have white ink, do the white ink. But I just find if you use the pen, the Signo pen, the lines really don't contour it properly to me. You know, you can use it, but to me, you can get a nice contoured look. Like, you know, like a balloon, when you blow it up, you get that white effect, and that gives you that round look. I think you get it nice picture. It comes out more realistic if you use the white acrylic or watercolor. Just a minute. I don't know where my manners were, but I should have said just a minute, please. Here's my swatches for LDRS Creative Hybrid Inks. I did the lips and some fancy writing on the bottom there. I gotta do a video on some doing some writing, you know, some fancy writing. But I can't do it all, it seems. I can't get it all in. In my mind, I've done it all, but I haven't actually done it in as a craft. Does that make sense to anybody? So here's the grape. I am using grape to get that color purple I want. And it will actually be, oh, you can see I'm getting out my dental sticks here to put some of the acrylic paint down on there. And then I'm grabbing my blender brush. Yeah, that's better. And you can see that it makes such a difference, you know. I actually did, this was not done intentionally, but see on the top, I forgot to wipe my nib off, so I got a bit of the purple on the top of this orange that I was making, but boy, it turned out exactly like I wanted it to look. That was a good error. I have lots of them, and I love the way that my errors turn out sometimes too. And this one darkened it up at the top with a little bit of the burgundy, and then I ran the orange and yellow down, and you'll see, yeah, look at that. It looks like I knew what I was doing when I don't. I'm just guessing. I'm just trying to make it look like a vintage umbrella. And yeah, and all the places I think should be dark, I just guess at it and put it in there. And if it doesn't work out, I'll lighten it up. And if it looks good, I'll leave it there. And that's how I work. That's how I roll when I'm coloring. And I think it's, you know, you don't want to overwork your brain. Yeah. Brain overload is not good when you're creating, because then you don't enjoy creating. You know, your brain's tired. So just, you know, put a blanket around your brain and relax, and get a pillow, and just take it easy and work with what you have. Work with the talents you do have, because in time your talent will grow as you're trying, you know, messing around and trying to accomplish certain looks. It'll all come to you. It will. Trust me on that one. And here you go. That's what I'm doing. I'm just practicing, and you see tutorials. You see beautiful artists, and they do this and do that. So you incorporate a little bit of this. You incorporate a little bit of that of their talent. Put it into your work, and it'll work. Yes. And here I'm getting the bottom tips of the umbrella. Obviously, they're going to be darker, right? And so I just put some, I had some of that orange on my blender pen, and I may be dabbing some more on. That's why I kind of left the coloring there. But you don't want to put a ton underneath your colors. You don't want to take away from the yellow and the red and the orange and the purple there. So just underneath those colors, put a little touch of the orange. You'll see that I do that. I go back. You want to leave some white under there. You really don't want to darken it up, because then it gives you lines, you know. It looks like you stamped it with bright yellow ink. You don't want that. You want to make it look like shading, and then just touch it here and there, just like I'm doing like that. Leave some white space. Make some kind of like, you know, V's, just like your umbrella is. And I think it looks pretty vintage. And I think it has a look all its own. Oh, yes. Oh, have a drink of Coca-Cola. That always makes nice cold Coca-Cola. I'm having one right now, and it's like 12:16. It's my lunchtime Coca-Cola. So here I'm going in with a bright yellow inside the little daisy. And in the stencil, it's called Coming Up Daisies. You're going to love the stencil. It has a beautiful picket fence. Oh, you know, one of those, if you think of a picket fence, this stencil has it. It has tulips, daisies, and houses on hills. Beautiful stencils. And I'm going to bring back my stencils, because I just think they're a beautiful, beautiful way to make cards. You could make a card with just your stencils. Have that 3D look. And I'm going to show you a few things that I do with this one. And here we go. I'm just adding that yellow, just putting it right in the center of my flowers. Real dark, almost a green yellow. And here we go. We're going to go back, because there are pieces I didn't do. And this one I think is going to be a green color, like that moss green. So that's why I start at the top, then I go down to the bottom. I don't color all the way down, because I may miss, you know, with hybrid inks, when you're using hybrid inks here to color with, it's not cut, you're not moving it anywhere. So leave your centers blank. If you're wanting to get that curved look or you want some light tones in there, leave, work from the top and then the bottom and meet in the center. That's what I did here. I did grab my pen for a little bit of this because on this image here, we're going to have raindrops falling, and I'm going to put these diamond glitter raindrops I had in my stash. I'll show you that. And it's kind of like I'm trying to get the look that the diamonds are bouncing off of the umbrella, if that makes sense. Is this not the most beautiful stamp ever? And the size of them, there's 25 stamps in this set. 25. The sentiments are there. You're going to love them. You're just going to love them. I've got it right here. It's just crazy. I'm going to grab it for you while I'm coloring. And what did I do there? Oh, I just grabbed a little brush, I think. And I try all different things when I'm there. It has Dance in the Rain, Jump in the Puddles, of course, Be Happy, has a rainbow, clouds, a big sun, Make a Splash. That's what I use, Make a Splash. I love the brush lettering in this too. Whoever the designer was in this set, wonderful brush lettering. Under the Weather, Hope You Feel Better, and Sunshine is really big. Oh, you see that? Don't forget that little piece up there. I didn't miss it. I saw it. My big eyes caught that little bit on the back of the umbrella, and I'm going to make that a deep blue. So I started with the light, and remember, this is all hybrid ink. Hybrid ink using a blender pen, a watercolor brush, or in my case, your Versamarker pen. Whatever you have handy. I love this one. I didn't want to get it too dirty. It's the Dove blender pen. I don't know. There's a blender pen that, you know, every product you have one special one. You don't want to use up. You want to use the other ones, you know, that are older. Well, my Dove, I think the Dove blender pen is the tops. Of all the blender pens I have, and I have many, the Dove blender pen is beautiful. Oh, yes. But I did use it on the blue here, and it does just stand right out. I wanted it to kind of pop because it is behind. I know most people say, well, if it's behind something, you don't want it to really showcase, you know. But here's the other image that I was doing, the reverse shadow image. I just wanted to show you because now this is where I changed my mind. I thought, see how you can get, and then you put 2 score marks because I was going to bend it and do something else. I did start this because it was going to be a card. And if it helped give you an idea for that, you know, just to turn your acrylic block around and make a shadow, go for it. But there I stopped. Nope, I'm getting out the canvas. I have 3 6x6 canvases, and maybe in time I'll do the other 2. But for today, I'm just, there it is. It's right there. Woo, there we go. And I took the 6x6 canvas. It is so crazy cute because what size are the papers? 6x6. So I'm going to just walk you through some of the, you know, ways that I work when I do a canvas. I love doing canvases. I love mixed media. I don't do enough of it, but this really got me going when I started this canvas. I had so much fun. I got out I thought this was my homemade gesso, but this in my jam jar there, in my glass jar, it's my homemade glue. This is my homemade glue. And I didn't realize it till I was finished right here. I'm going, wait a minute. Why is this not drying, you know, flat? Why is this not matte? You know, flat, matte, whatever. It's looking like glue. And the reason is, it is glue. So all I did was grab my gesso, went right over it. No problem there. Just, I have that big bucket I got at the big box store of gesso. And I'm going over it because this is just going to make sure that the glue I do use, which is my homemade glue, that bright white beautiful homemade glue that I forgot that I made, and yeah, found it when I was looking for my modeling paste. You know, those are the things you find when you're digging deep in your craft room, right? So I'm going to gesso the whole 6x6 canvas, grab my heat tool so it dries rather quickly, And then we're going to proceed with grabbing that 6x6 piece of paper, and I'm going to tear it off all the way around the edges. You don't want to stick it down so you don't see your canvas. You want to rip your paper and rip it towards you, and if you rip it towards you, that means you're going to see the white paper, the paper underneath. I don't know why, I think I already ripped it actually. I don't know why I didn't show you me ripping it towards me, but see how you see the white edge? And that's my homemade white glue. Oh, it's so good. It's sticky. I forgot I made that last year, and it's just as white and bright and beautiful as the day I made it. So I'm grabbing a baby wipe and I'm going over it, pouncing it so all the bubbles are out of there. You wouldn't see it anyway because it's rain falling. And then, oh yeah, let's move those clouds away and bring in some sunshine so we can see this project. Then I love the umbrella on this paper. Isn't that something? And then I tore this out. You just want to tear it to make it work, and tear it around the edge, that other umbrella. You're going to see that down in the corner. It doesn't matter. So it's a floating umbrella. Love it. This is a canvas, and it's going to be a bit, oh yes, before I get started, let's have another drink. As a matter of fact, excuse me, I am going to have another gulp of my Coca-Cola. Thank you for just letting me do that. It just helps me. It's like putting fuel in your truck, you know? When you know you have a full tank, you just feel better. Well, that's me with Coca-Cola. When I know I've got a full tank, my tummy's full of Coca-Cola, I feel good. Yes. I should actually contact the Coca-Cola company because I am the best representator. Is that a word? I represent them very well. Representator. Yeah, sounds like tater tots. It sounds like, you know, you need, oh, there you go. Wow, I'm really wanting to fill up on that. It must give me inspiration. Oh dear. Yes, I do try to watch the English language. Oh, I love, when you're doing mixed media, you have to have cheesecloth. You just have to have it, you know? And it goes down nicely. It gives you that textured vintage look. Makes you look like you know what you're doing. Oh yeah, gotta love it, right? And work it. Just work it in there. And I'm using my homemade glue. I think I have it setting up on something there. I have to be careful. I don't know. I can tell that I'm lifting up my hand, and I remember putting it up on top of something. That's not a good thing. It's like an accident ready to happen. Oh, yeah, so separate it there. Get it all nice. You don't need to have it flat. Mixed media isn't flat. I'm just getting my makeup brush here. I get a bunch of them at my dollar store when nothing's $1. I'm going around this with my gesso. So if I'm pouncing it, I'm just trying to see if it's my glue or it's my gesso. Probably my glue. I'm gluing it down. Then I'm going to start coloring in the raindrops. Once I had the upper part of the cheesecloth on. I haven't put the lower corner on yet. And I'm going to widen out the water on the bottom because there's raindrops falling there. And of course there has to be some water puddle. So I'll finish the colors up there. Then we're going to talk about flowers. Now, it is nice to have homemade flowers. You know, it's very easy to make your own flowers. It's not a complicated thing, but it's a time-consuming thing. So, you know, sometime maybe in the evening, I'll make a few flowers up. Paper flowers. I love paper flowers. Here's my beacon glue. Beacon glue is exactly like using, yes, it's raining gold again. I'm making it fat on the bottom and bringing that beacon glue up to a tip so it looks like actual falling rain. And I don't know if you can see that. See how fat it is on the bottom? I really squeeze it and then I just release it up thin. And beacon glue is like glossy accents, but you get, I don't know, so much more in the bottle. Probably 2/3 more than you do with glossy accents, but I like them both. And I don't want to promote one over the other, but beacon glue is more affordable. And it dries just like glossy accents. I always try to tell you that. Beacon glue. When you're at a box store, pick it up. And then put it in little containers and it'll last you forever. So here we go. I've made the beacon glue. And once it was all dry, I didn't do this while it was wet, I don't think. I could have. You never know with me, right? I want to put some more cheesecloth down. I just make sure I always know where my cheesecloth is, because if I do a canvas, oof, I love it. I love the look of it. Everything about it. Cheesecloth. Is there another name for it? I don't know. There could be. Maybe it's like cloth with holes in it. And here's Martha Stewart pouncers. One day I found these at a box store, a whole bag for like, I don't know, $4. And they're all, you can take those the sponge part out and replace them. All different sizes. Boy, I got a good deal on that some time ago. And then I found the bag, it was tucked away. And I am just pouncing my white glue. Yes, my white glue on there. Pouncing it all down to dry, kind of moving it here, moving it there, because I'm going to put this absolutely delicious stencil all the way around. I'm going to use the daisies and the little, looks like little the daisies and the, oh, it's tulips. That's why it looks like tulips. It's tulips. Oh, I'm telling you, I'm losing it. We have tulips that are growing. I thought I pulled all the tulip bulbs out. I didn't want to have tulips around my house. So I thought I pulled them all out, but I guess some were deeper because they're growing back this year. After 3 years, all of a sudden I'm getting tulips come up. It's crazy. Yeah, they're beautiful though, but they don't last long. Alrighty then, let's get back to doing a nice 6x6 canvas. If you want a quick project, this is it. I mean, you can't get anything any better, and I think it's 1.5 inches in the depth. So it has a nice deep ridge around the edges to put your stencil. And you're going to love stenciling. Here I'm getting into the big dauber. Oh yeah, this is the grandpappy of daubers. And I put too much beacon glue on there, so I'm just going to lift it up with a makeup brush. And then just slide her off and get that shine on our nice umbrella. And there is a shine on some umbrellas because the rain makes it shine, the water on it, right? That's what I was thinking. And on the rubber boots, make sure you get some beacon on the boots. Beacon boots. And yeah, doesn't that cheesecloth look, just wonderful. I love it. And then, oh, I was talking about the flowers. I guess not yet. I'm going to do the tulips. Now, when you do, once I get it in frame, I'm going to show you something. You don't have to worry about taping down a stencil. It's a waste of time. All you do is dab your paste. Now, your modeling paste or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to tell you what I'm using because I absolutely love it. Just a second. Once again, I didn't use my manners. Just a second, please. Excuse me. Oh, now he has modeling paste all over his feet. He always comes when there's glue or some kind of stickiness. Okay, this is Liquitex Professional Flexible Modeling Paste. Now, the reason I want to emphasize the flexible, that if you put it on corners of paper and you bend it, it's not going to crack. It's called Flexible Modeling Paste. It's the gel, it's just gel medium, and it is, I don't know how many, a great big jar anyway, 473 milliliters, is it? I don't know. It's a pretty hefty container, and all you have to do is get your little your stenciling plastic brush, and don't put too much on, because when you lift it, you're going to lift it and it's going to come up like points. There it is. That's the size of the modeling paste by Liquitex. Liquitex Professional Flexible Modeling Paste. Flexible is the key word here. It just will not crack like normal modeling paste will. And it's smooth and it's yummy, deliciously thick. You're going to love that. I love using that. And I love my homemade one. I think I get my homemade one out to compare it later. I'm not sure. But I like my white paste as well. Look at that. Stencils. I mean, even on a card, stencils are beautiful. Yeah, I'm going to make sure that doesn't fall. And go back and get it, because you do leave quite a bit of that gel paste, whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to quickly give it some heat, because in case I drop it, it doesn't flatten all out on me. Yeah, you can see that, right? And what I was saying here, I'm just dabbing a little bit of it up. when you take it up, kind of move it up and then off to the side. Now watch this, no tape, you don't have to tape it down. Just put some of your modeling paste on there. The modeling paste will hold it in place, watch. Right there, yeah, and there you go, just run with it. Right across with your plastic knife there, your modeling paste knife, I'll call it. It's your palette knife actually, but look at that stencil. You look at the gate. It's beautiful. And then you've got the houses and the hills on the top all in one. And there we go. There's my Pouncy Pouncers with the Martha Stewart thingy. And then I found my little, I think that's a Martha Stewart little acrylic block with the little sponges on it too. It was my day to find things. When you make a project that you don't make all the time, you go looking for stuff, right? And so then when you're looking, you're finding stuff in the process. It's a wonderful thing. So here we go. Look at that. I just love it. I love the paper. Stenciling. Oh, I'm going to do more. I've got a ton of stencils, like I said, I have. I have a lot of stencils I want to use in the future upcoming videos. So there's the 25 stamps, the stamped images I'm showing you there. Is that not beautiful? Love the size of them. They're just perfect for cards, perfect for canvases. Yes. And can you imagine doing 3 of these and hanging them up in the little child's room? Now I went to my stash again and I found all of this Stampin' Scrapping flowers I bought it 5 years ago. They had a big sale on, and I love the little, look at me just throwing them all over my canvas. Hopefully it's dry. I do that all the time, don't I? But they had the little rosebuds on sale, and I'm talking sale. If I buy a bunch like this, you know it was a really good buy. And it had all colored flowers. Now, generally speaking, when I buy flowers online, and I make sure they're paper flowers, I don't buy them in colors necessarily unless they have a good sale, because you can always color them with either a sponge dipped into your ink or your watercolors with a sponge, or in my case that I used was my Copic markers. I just used my air gun, and I just, airbrushed the color on. We're going to do a lot of things with this. Look at the cheesecloth. Oh, you can hardly tell it's underneath there. It's beautiful. Let's get out some stencils. I know you're going to love it. I was just listening behind me. You know when you put your shower on earlier in the day and then all of a sudden you're sitting somewhere and it scares you half to death like I just did. And all of a sudden water just starts coming down. Just, whew, and you're there. What is that? Yeah, that's what you just heard if you did hear that. So I have an air compressor underneath my island here. So I just turned it on. It doesn't make any noise, just the odd time it lets you know it's on, But I have the air compressor. Then I get, now don't do this. I'm going to tell you, don't do this. I took a little piece of my cheesecloth. I went way too close to what I was doing. Look at that mess. But that was okay. I had to try it, right? So all I'll do is take some texture paste and I'll go back. Oh yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love those mistakes. And I just went back and added more white paste over it. And it's vintage, so hello, we're not going to be precise here. I grabbed 2 different colors of green out of, this is all using the inks now. This is your beautiful LDRS Creative inks. And what do you love about these inks? Hybrid. Memorize that word, hybrid inks. It gives you time in between to emboss. There's dye inks, and then there's pigment inks, and right in the middle is your hybrid ink. And look at how vivacious these colors are. Beautiful. Just a little cheap makeup brush from the dollar store where nothing's $1 in my case, and I'm just applying 2 colors. So you put a yellow. When it dries, add some more yellow. You don't have to get out 2 different yellows. Put the yellow on top of the yellow because it works. They don't fade because it's hybrid. You're not going to get a fade on this. You're either going to lightly pounce it and get a light color, or you're going to add 2 coats to get a darker color. You don't want to go too hard on this because it's stencils. You want them raised up. You don't want to flatten them right after you've put them on there, right? And I love it. Look at this. And then you get that little edge of white around the flower. Oh, so pretty. I really love looking at this. It just reminds you of summer on the way or spring. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Love tulips. Yes, I just don't like them around my house, but I do have them out in the back 40. I have a lot of tulips and daffodils, you know, right by my lilac trees. So nice. Oh, just makes you feel good just even talking about it. And here we go. It is a kind of overcast day, probably 50 degrees outside, 45, 50 here. Oh, I wanted to show you what I'm working in. Look at that. I always tell you, I have about 4 inches by 6 inches to work. I have an entire island, but I have so much junk around me. That's what I wanted to show you. Look at the amount of space I have to work in. Isn't that crazy? I end up just smothering myself. I push myself in to this tiny little space. I must feel comfortable working in a tiny space because I've got stuff everywhere. And then I added some of that tea stain color for the stems of my flowers. And looky, isn't it pretty? This color is primrose. It's such a nice color. It's kind of like a orange red. So pretty. And here's that tea stain to make the stems. And there it is. It'd be nice if I showed you the actual name of it, wouldn't it? And yeah, I have no room to work. An entire island, and I've smothered myself into a 4x4, well, probably 6x6. I think I can set this canvas down, and it's 6x6. Look at close up. Do you love stenciling or what? You could do an entire front of your card in stenciling if you use the key is the flexible modeling paste, where it will bend because cards bend more so than a canvas would. You know, so you can use any kind of paste for your canvas. So here we go. I'm just filling these little flowers in, and you get all of this in one stencil, my friends. I'm going to have the link on my blog. It takes me a while to get over to my blog. Once I get this up and I fill all the spots in you're supposed to fill in and all that stuff, I go over and put it on the blog. So here we go. Yeah. And I answer all my comments on on the actual YouTube channel. So if you did comment on my blog, I don't go over there very often, but I will eventually. Here's the Mod Podge in the gloss. I will cover it right over it when it's dry. And you don't have to worry because it'll dry fast enough with your heat gun. You can see me using my heat tool here. Then I pounce the gloss Mod Podge on the top and it dries shiny. That's what I want. I want it to dry shiny. You can use the matte Mod Podge. I just didn't have any, so I had to use the glossy. I work with what I have. Then I'm working around again. And this just added, this is the key line. It comes in the big one and it comes in the little mini. So you're getting the, oh, there goes that ding, and that's my dishwasher. It just finished a load of dishes. Talk about vintage. Can you imagine having to take your dishes down to the river to do in the water, or bringing the water up from the well and doing your dishes? Now we just put them in the dishwasher and they do the, yeah, it's beeping. I love the Bosch. I think it's called the Bosch or Bosch. I love that dishwasher because it only makes those 3 little beeps. I don't have to listen to it all day, you know, telling me. I don't have to go down there and turn it off. It just has this light on the bottom that lights up the floor. That way I know it's finished. And when the light goes out, I can take my dishes out. It's wonderful. I love the modern day conveniences, don't you? I'm so thankful. I say that with pure reverence, to be very thankful for what I have. I'm truly, truly thankful. So here we go. There's my makeup brushes from the dollar store. You get a ton of them. My Mod Podge, just going crazy. Look at that cheesecloth. Is that not nice, yummy looking on a canvas? I'm sorry I'm going so fast. I just didn't want to do another 2-hour tutorial. Tried to keep it under an hour. I didn't make it, but I tried. Now my Mod Podge is going completely over everything. And we're going to start decorating. The fun part of a canvas, right, is the decoration. Look around there. Oh, it's all dry now. I got out my Scrabble numbers. I was going to put LDRS Creative, but I had nowhere to put it. I used up all my space. Okay, this is one of my junk. I got this container at the dollar store where nothing's a dollar, and they come in a set. You can get all sizes, and I keep my extras. If I'm working with something and I'm too lazy to go put it in the right spot, I throw it in this little basket, this weaved basket. And I always know where it is, and if I'm looking just for pieces, parts for a project, that's where I'll go first before I go looking all over, you know, into organized places. I go to this, I love digging in unorganized stuff, don't you? I love junk, you know, to have at least one junk drawer in your kitchen. I mean, that's a must. And I love this junk drawer of little extra pieces, parts that I can grab. This is where I found the diamond raindrops and a few other little bits and bobs. I took out, didn't use them, but I did take out some. And yeah, look at that. And then I went over and I got out the big baby, big bucket that I had all of, a lot of my, oh, I use that. I love blue fern pieces of wooden pieces. They're kind of like, they're not really wood. They're like a balsam wood, you know. You'll see them here. Now I'm getting out another basket, and I want to see, that's all cameo stuff. I might, no, I don't think I use that one. It's just, no, don't use that. And there's the blue fern. I love that for mixed media. Yeah, I must have just hit something on the keyboard and I had to fix it. This is just all my little wooden pieces and blue fern. I use this on every canvas or layout, 12 by 12 layout. When I do a layout, I like to have my balsam wood cutouts. Yeah, so I have a little basket of these I can just grab. The bigger ones, they're in a cupboard drawer, an actual drawer. But these ones, this is like grab and go, right? You just take a bucket out and go through it. And it feels good. It feels good, like rummaging. It's like going to a rummage shop. I think they call them thrift stores now, but back in the day, they were the rummage store. You want to go to the rummage store and rummage around? Yes, I'd love to. There you go. I have to poke the holes out of it. It's just perfect for the project, isn't it? It looks like those little pansy flowers on the side with the stencil. And then I took out my glue. Here I go again. What's the matter with my brain? I already know that this is my homemade white glue. So what do? I meant to put gesso on it. You want to make sure you gesso all of your wood pieces. Anything. I gesso everything on my canvas. But look what I do. I use my white glue. Oh well. It worked well because I turned it over and actually used the glue side. But I did get my big, look at there, I got my pouncer thing out of my white glue. This is so funny. Guess what it does? Guess what it does, my friends? Of course, it sticks it to the white paper I have it on. Oh, doesn't that look yummy? It looks like a vanilla shake. Yeah, so here I'm doodling around and it's drying on that white piece of paper. And then I thought, oh, I'll just get out my chopsticks. When I get Chinese food, I always tell you, I ask if I can have some of these. You know, they probably think, wow, she knows how to eat with chopsticks. No, I use them for crafting. Haven't got a clue how to use them with my Chinese food. I wouldn't get enough of the food in my big yap using those sticks. I'd be there forever. I'd be starving to death. No, I use a great big mama spoon to spoon in my Chinese food. Yes. I'm not shy when it comes to eating, that's for sure. Yeah, it's the Ukrainian side of me. So here we go. I finally, yeah, I'm gluing it again because I need to glue it down, obviously. And then I'll pounce the gesso on after. I thought, let's do it right, Carol, for once, okay? Even though it's off camera, I will do it right. Yeah, get the glue down, position it, and Elmer's white glue. I mean, anything. When you're doing mixed media, you don't have to worry whether it dries clear, it dries white. You could just go over it with a coloring medium. No worries there. Here I was just playing around with that little piece I cut off, but I didn't use it. You know, there's some things you just don't worry about wasting a little piece like that. So here we are. I've got it glued down and I'm ready to get this canvas going. And you know, from start to finish on a mixed media piece, at the beginning stages, you really do have doubt whether it's going to come out looking half decent. You know what I mean? But it does, because your brain starts to, it's like a train. It's like one of those locomotives, where you used to put in the wood and it would be there. And my brain works like that. It's slow at first. It's slow off the gate. But once it gets fired up, I can't stop myself. No, this is a clip. This is a little bee. It's so cute. It's turquoise and it's a paper clip and it's a glass bee, little bee. Watch, you're going to see it's a bee. Oh yeah, you're not going to forget that clip. Come on, get in the film here. It's more important to show you my what do you call it there? I wonder if I took my little bees out by accident. I had two little bees that were saying hello when I put this down. Maybe it's later on. I don't know. See, I'm thinking, I'm into the big bottle there. I'm into the Grandmama Coca-Cola right there. So here we go, Carol. I'm letting that dry. I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue. Oh, this is where your hot glue comes out. And I'm going to get out my paper flowers. Now, when you use gesso, it doesn't matter what color you put down, because you can just pounce the white gesso on and start with a different color. You can use your Copics, you can sponge down your inks, whatever, embossing paste, whatever you want. Don't worry that you don't have the right colors. Gesso covers anything, and then you can just start again and put whatever color you want down. So I decided to put a little baby rose right there, and we're going to start building. It has that wire on it, so I always take a little, probably my pokey tool, or a paintbrush, and go round and round and round so it makes a nice little twirl. And here, I don't even look at the color. I don't care about the colors I put down. I just go for sizes right now. Make sure the sizing is uniform, and work the corners. I ended up taking that bow off. Don't panic. I had a little polka dot bow on that umbrella down there. But this is the key. This is why I have no space to work with, because I have everything laid out and I just start to build. And always remember, don't worry about the colors, okay? There you go. This is my little tube of gesso. I'm going to squirt out gesso. It's bright white, and I can color up, I tried to get close to the colors in the umbrella, let me say that, but they weren't spot on. So what I did was I covered them with the gesso, and grabbed my Copic air gun, and I just went to town adding the same colors as what's in the rainbow with my Copic airbrush. And this is wonderful. And even though I have a compressor, I still have the small, they come in 3 different sizes that you can buy the cans. And I have a few of those in case I have to go somewhere and I don't have to bring the huge, the actual compressor. I just take one of those with me. And there's the glass. Aren't they cute? I took out, even though it does have sticky on the back of these raindrops, you don't want to trust that. You put some hot glue underneath. And then put your drops going in different directions, not all straight down, because rain doesn't go like that. And I know it looks like it in the background as well. It's kind of straight on the paper, but move up I'm able to position these on my own, so I can make the decision to move them in different positions. And then I'm going to work up the flowers on the top left, and then we'll color them in. Look at that, I just ripped it right off the paper, that bow on the bottom right. It doesn't matter, it's vintage, right? I always say that, don't worry. Ripping is good, tearing is even better. Now it all started with that one focal point on the lower left, right? That wooden flower going around in the balsam wood, because it's flexible. And it's thin, and it looks so beautiful. I love working with one focal point and work around it. Now I'm putting in the little rose buds, the tiny teensy rose buds here and there, and putting them in. And yeah, I'm going to stop this and make sure I put my little bees in there, because I did put them in there and I don't see them. I'll be right back. Just a minute, please. There we go. I just went and grabbed my little bees and put them in there. I wanted it as a reminder that you can find a little paper clip, and it has a nice glass little bee. See it up there in the turquoise? Well, down there beside my big pansy wooden thing. Hi, I'm a bee. Hello. I could not put them in there. Yes, they're in the wrong spot because I wanted to place them when I put that little bee glass paper clip. You always have to remember the words of all this stuff, right? Oh, you can see that I changed the bow to yellow. I think I ended up keeping it because I'm going to put the gesso over top, so it doesn't matter. And here I am adding some, so I need to worry that I have green. I'm not even sure if I worry about putting leaves on there. I don't think I do this time because you only have a 6x6 space, right, to work with. So I wasn't really concentrating on having big leaves or anything like that. I made the little rosebuds more of the shooting out things. There's my wooden May. This is my LDRS Creative Design Team May project. So I know you were thinking it'd probably have April showers, but no, 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 no. This is the May. This is my May design team project. So I made sure I put May, and my birthday's in May. So May's good. Then I took my pouncer and I my gesso, my white gesso there, and I was able to use that little tube that I had of gesso instead of getting out that honking tub full. And yeah, just squirted on the side. I think I used it all up actually. Yeah, I glue gunned that down, and there we're just going to make sure this is dry, and then the vintage stuff is going. Oh yeah, as I was bringing it over, the melted glue of course got on my project, but that's no biggie. Even if you tear it and you have your paper torn, it looks good. It's vintage. So that's going to dry. We're going to get into some embossing powders that make it look wonderful. That's where the copper and the color of the coat come into play, on the bottom left corner and on the May upper right corner. Oh yeah, pouncing some more. Each time it dries, I add more, and I add it to the white flowers as well, because anything that I spray on there or I pounce on there, the gesso is going to hold it. Here I'm getting out a bunch of green ones, and I wanted the green in there because I have the green boots. I have a little bit of green on the umbrella, but I wanted to incorporate some nice green. And we're going to pounce it with the gesso, so it's not really going to be that vivid. You know, it's not going to just scream at you. It's just going to be there, you know, like the boots right there. They're there, and they're sweet. And I can't be without gesso in my craft room. Any kind of gesso, whether you buy it in the 50-pound pail like I do, or you get it in the small little 2-ounce tube, whatever, it's good to have some gesso lying around because it is the catalyst that holds on your color. And no matter what it is, it just adheres it to whatever you're working with. So keep your gesso close to you. It's your pal. Here we go, going around. And see how you see that color in those paper flowers? You see the color. Look at, you've got the vibrant color going around with your stenciling. Love that. And we're going to use some embossing powder on the bottom of one of the flowers that I'm going to call pansies, okay? I'm not, you know, I know a rose when I see it. I know a carnation when I see it. But yeah, I'm not really big on all the big names. Here I'm putting some yellow out. You saw that. It was so quick, I don't even know if you... I'm staying low. Let me just tell you that I'm keeping my colors. I start out not so vibrant, and then I'll add the vibrant. Here I'm just adding a little bit here and there. That's what you do. Okay, now let me see what we're going to do. I had to stop my project there for just a second, but we are going to get right back into it here. And let's see. Yes, I'm going to airbrush again. I'm going to put my Copic colors here. I knew I wanted to bring out that center red right there in the umbrella. So I just added a touch here and there. And I don't want to worry about whether I, you know, make a mistake or I put too much color here, too much color there. The gesso, like I said, I'll probably say it 100 times, it is the eraser to people that do, you know, color with a pencil or do art with a pencil. You know, you want to keep a good eraser on hand. Well, that's what it is if you do anything on a canvas. You want to keep your gesso close by, right? Because that just goes together, you know, like peanut butter and jam. Like I say, you see me going back over and over and over again. I'm going to go back and pounce out the color. Bring it to the color that I want. You know, any little imperfections, just pounce on your gesso and it will dry and cover it up and you don't have to worry. It is your friend. So here we go, just working around that one little, which isn't so little, image of that young girl with her rubber boots on in the rain, in the puddle, with her umbrella. And it all just works its way around the central image wonderfully. And then the rain, and here's where I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to put LDRS. No, you're not, Carol. There is no room there. And actually, I left that space there to put my sentiment. I am actually putting a sentiment on. No, I'm not putting that, Carol. I'm putting a sentiment. Look at me. I'm trying to find a piece of space to put something. But no, you want to leave your edges clean, you know, around the framework of your canvas. Keep it, you know, your images nice and clean. And then on top, you can go crazy with creating. Squirting out some more. You can see how many times I went over things with the gesso until I get the colors just right. And you can take out images, you know, on your paper if you find it too overwhelming, and with the gesso as well. So, you know, lots to do here. Then I thought I'd break out some large flowers. But you know what? This does not, no. There is nowhere for a large flower to be on this canvas. The May takes up your one large focal point. The one, you know, your center is your focal point. Then that May is quite big. So your eye is going to end up going up there and it's going to go down to the left corner as well. So I want to keep everything light. I'm going back with the Copic air gun. And I'm going to just give a few sprays here and there. And I love to use it because, you know, I bought my compressor about 4 years ago, and I hardly use it. And that's not good. You want to use up your products, right? And canvas work, especially on a large canvas, will give you the opportunity. Go in your stash and get up. Yeah, Carol, give it up. Give it up and put those flowers back. Close the lid and don't even go there. Just take it away. Put it back in your container and call it a day. Yes. I'm trying to find some space. Can you believe this? I am trying to find room to put my 6x6 canvas. What is with that? Look at. I don't know what I was doing there for you. I guess I was just taking a break. And I didn't even clean things up. I'm just going around to show you how sweet a stencil is. You know, stenciling. And there's the image. It's not too overdone, I don't think. Then I said, okay, now comes clean it all up. I'm going to move things back and clean it up, and we are going to get into some serious embossing with some embossing powder colors. And you're just going to love them. I'm testing this out. I'm going to add a base coat of this light cranberry that, yeah, it's kind of like a orange-red with a touch of purple in it. It's really pretty. Oh yes, let's pounce again. Keep that gesso, don't get rid of that. You want to keep that in there, and especially if you're doing any airbrushing. You know, it's nice to tone it down with the gesso. So here we are, I'm showing you again. Yes, and that cheesecloth, it just really love it. And then I had to make that umbrella black. You know, the handle, it was not, it kind of disappeared. And then now it's time for the Make a Splash sentiment. Love the font on this. So I thought, okay, I am going to put some flat gold. I didn't like it. It was like, it just took away from everything. It was too flat. And I thought, okay, here's the beauty again. Put the gesso even over top of your embossing powder that's already been heat set. And then see, it is gold. It does look nice, but it doesn't go with a red jacket. It's not what I wanted. So I come down into the corner and I try it down there. See if I can kind of make it uniform and see if I like it any better, but I didn't. I wanted it a brighter gold with some copper and some vintage strawberry. I have this vintage embossing powder that has gold and bronze and pinks in it. So pretty. I grabbed this Martha Stewart embossing powder here. It's bright, bright cherry red. I can't do any more damage than I've already done. See, I'm now covering up with white embossing powder. Keep that white close too. If you don't want to use the gesso and you find your gesso sliding around, get a white embossing powder. Cover it with that, you know, and move forward till you get what you want. And it has that strawberry look, even though I'm going really, really fast. I do slow it down for you. But it wasn't the right color, it wasn't the bronze, and it wasn't that look of the jacket. I wanted that look exact on the two corners. So I'll work with it. Here's that vintage. It has pink, bronze, and gold. I go back to a bright, this is just right over top. I go back to a bright gold and put it on top. I did not take much off. As you can see, I do have that cream color embossing powder over top, and I'm starting to really like it. It is coming together for me. Then get all the stray pieces of embossing powder off there with your dollar store little makeup blush brush. Then I want to do the tops of my flowers in the gold. I liked this color gold. So I tap the Versamark on the top of the flowers. I'll add the powder, and then I'll heat set it so just the tips of all those beautiful flowers get covered. And yeah, I'm just trying to show you. I do slow it down, so don't worry, even though I'm going 40,000 miles an hour here. I'm going to put some of this vintage pink gold on the bottom. Love this color, it's so subtle. So I put it on the bottom to ground those little pansies there, and I'll heat set that. Love that color. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It just, I don't know, lightens up the top. It does really make it look sweet with the cheesecloth. I could have thrown some into the cheesecloth as well. I just saw a little bit of glue in there. That's why I grabbed my little pinchies. And hopefully soon we get to the part where I slow it down. And yeah, it's so pretty to me. Just a second here. I'm going to go around. I'm slowly showing you how you can just put that gesso on top. I love the color of the May. I really do. I love the color, how it turned out. It really did make me happy. It was a really sweet piece of canvas work, I think. And I'm all cleaned up there. It's so funny because I was working in the evening I think it was last night, finishing this up. Yesterday I was doing the edit. And but before that, I was working more in the evening, and I kept kicking my large light to the left here, my big light, and it kept going off and on, and I couldn't figure out, every time I put my chair in, it kept putting the light out, and I was looking at the cord and looking at everything. So if you see the light kind of going in and out, I was playing around there with my chair hitting it. I'm so sorry. I don't do that. I generally stay in one spot. Now I'm checking for any glue, strays, trying to get that out. And then I'm going to take my little piece of vellum. See, I didn't say acetate. Vellum, my Versamark. And this is LDRS Creative Ink Versamark. And yeah, we're going to work with that. The LDRS is called Watermark, not Versamark. It's called Watermark. It's wonderfully juicy, like everything they put out. Now, I tried it here with the copper, did not like it. Did not like it. I didn't like it so much, I didn't even heat set it, went right in the garbage. Now, I don't do that very often, but yes, I wasn't happy with that. But I found my 14 karat gold embossing powder. This is, if you want gold, this is the taste on la resistance of the gold. Imagine ink embossing gold, called 14 karat gold. It is shiny. It is the gold of golds. And I keep it for just these occasions. And then I found some feathers that were gold, but you know what? Feathers have nothing to do with any of this, even though it's a canvas. Oh yeah, some of my bling bling was covered with the embossing powder. I didn't want that. Some I don't mind, but that one, you know, you can see the one at the bottom of the May there. It's covered a bit with the embossing powder. I don't mind that. That looks nice. You don't have to have the bling all blinging. But look at the Make a Splash with that 14 karat gold. Isn't that beautiful? Then I took out an older set from LDRS because I wanted to have a nice cutout border for the sentiment. So I went to another LDRS creative die. Love their dies. I'm going to say it again. Teflon coated. And then they're color coded as well. Everything is just perfect, just perfect. That's why I had to lift this up to get my sentiment under there. So I grabbed my scissors. I ended up cutting it off because it just got in the way. I cut my bow shorter than it is there. I took some tiny, these are tiny little glue dots, and I'm going to put it on there, and I'm not going to put anything over it. I was going to put some little gems, but it didn't go. It stuck on there beautifully just with those little glue dots. Here's where I cut it off. Just snip it off. You don't need it. You don't even notice that the bottom of the bow isn't long, you know, the stems or whatever you want to call it. It's not that long, but it doesn't matter. Look it. It's just perfect. It says make a splash without making a splash. Oh, I tell you, there's some philosophy in this. It says make a splash, which that little girl is doing, but it doesn't take over the canvas. It's just 14 karat gold, just what I love. I love it so much that I went and got my rainy gold little doodad thing to put inside. Here it comes. It's going to start raining gold. Yes. Oh, yes. Make a splash, 14 karat gold. And see how I put those round, they look like water, actually. The little gems, the see-through, they look like glass round gems. They are cute, but it's overdone. There's just too much going on around this canvas. So I took it off. On the letter M in May, see how it has that little calligraphy round end to it? I put one of these glass gems up there. That was nice. I didn't mind that. I put that on there. I think I end up putting some glue underneath it as well to keep it. Yeah, I'm just taking a little bit off of the embossing powder there. And let's get, yeah, I just needed a glue dot. These glue dots are really sticky. Sticky. So I put my gem down there. Oh yes, put it right there. I take it off the sentiment. It doesn't need anything to make a statement down there. And looky, we are finished. I am pretty sure I am getting it close to the camera so you can see all of that goodness. Cheesecloth and my embossing powder there. And the cheesecloth being nice and chunky and toned down all of those paper flowers up in the corner. We put on embossing powder till we got just the right color we wanted. And the bow is toned down with the gesso. I love the way the stems are curled on each of the flowers because they are green metal. And I also gessoed on top of that. My little bee on that turquoise bee paper clip. There's just something special about this. Now, if I did 3 of them, would that not look cute in a child's room having 3? You know, you could put April, May, June, or you could get the name of, you know, whosever room it is and put it in your daughter's room or whatever, your granddaughter's, your cousin, whatever, and you could put that up there. There's so many possibilities with working with LDRS creative products. And this 6x6 canvas, you can't even tell it's, you know, it looks bigger than it is. I'm just putting my stuff away. I'm going to showcase the May, the stencils coming up daisies, but the puddle jumper. there it is. There, and I love the way LDRS Creative colors their images in. So if you want to duplicate the colors, or you just don't know what colors to use, it's already done for you, and you can just set it off to the side. There it is. Isn't that gorgeous? Look how big it is. It's 25 stamps, and look at the beautiful brush lettering. You are going to love all the products over on LDRS Creative. It will be linked on my blog, like I said. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for subscribing. I sure appreciate it. There's the stencil coming up, daisies. All the products on LDRS for this release will be on my blog in a link to just press. And here's the rest of the release, which I will have some tutorials up. It was wonderful spending time with you today. And take it away, enjoy the pictures, and have yourself a blessed week as always. Take care, everybody.